Hi, welcome back. All right. So, in this module, we're going to talk about adults and kind of your newly diagnosed lifestyle changes. In the prior module, we talked primarily about kids and teens. That one, certainly a lot of that is still relevant to adults, but we're going to focus specifically in this one just on adults. So, here's a couple of lifestyle changes to really focus on. And again, these are probably helpful for most people, but can benefit you even more with ADHD. So basically, sleep, routines, and planning are kind of like the three probably big things to start with. Again, there's more than that, but we'll start with these. So, sleep. I mean, you need enough sleep. And so that's really thinking about think about sleep as an appointment that you should attend on time regularly. So, the idea is if you want 8 hours of sleep, and let's say you need to get up at 6 a.m., you need to be asleep by 10. So then you need to work backwards to figure out what time can you realistically start getting ready for bed and what time can you actually get into bed to in turn be able to then be asleep by 10. I mean, again, I realize with schedules and a variety of other things, it may not always be realistic to get quite as much sleep as you want. But I think the idea is to strive to get as close to sort of the amount of time that's ideal that you want. And so that's where actually planning ahead and then looking at, ways to help yourself to wind down, whether it's, using if you have an iPhone, using the health app to set a reminder to start to wind down at a certain time, using some sort of external app, having your phone, sort of shut down certain apps at certain times, but whatever you need to do as a starting point to help yourself to be able to wind down to go to bed so you get sleep. So that's an important thing. Routines. So the morning routine, evening routine, whatever other routines you need to do, those are all really important to be able to focus on. And so a great suggestion that I have would be it's fairly simple. Basically, sit down, make a list of all the things you need to do in the morning from the time you get up until you head off to work or start working, whether it's things just for you, things for your kids. Basically, list out everything you need to do. Look at how long it should take to do each one, and then figure out, does this actually fit into the time you have available in the morning? If it does, great. If it doesn't, it means you either need to figure out adjusting what you're doing, figuring out a more efficient way to do it, or getting up earlier or somehow figure out more time to be able to get stuff done. Because if you're trying to operate and get stuff and go through a routine, but the time doesn't actually match up the time you have available, of course it's not going to work or properly. So the idea is to be able to take that step back, not in the moment, and think about how long do I need to get out of bed to get myself up? And then also looking at it from a perspective of the order of things. I mean, even if there are certain things that in theory should take the same amount of time no matter when you do them, if you're less awake when you're doing certain things, does that take twice as long? So, for example, if you're making your kids lunches for that morning, if you're still half asleep and you're trying to do that while making breakfast, is it going to take you 15 minutes to do it? Whereas if you were very focused and awake, it would take you 5. So when there is a difference in the time it takes, that's where looking at the order of things can be really helpful. So I think the routine, like the morning routine, evening routine, that's really important to look at. As far as keeping track of what you need to do. And so this, and again, I mean, I could talk for hours on this part, but thinking about real basic way, what are the things you need to keep track of? So in terms of events, activities, using a calendar for that can be really helpful. And then as far as tasks you need to do, whether it's for you, for your kids, writing them down. There's more than one way to do most things, but my strong suggestion is don't rely on your memory for tasks. Write them down, using an app like the Reminders app. If you have an iPhone as a starting point, or if you have an Android device, Google Tasks, the app could be good. But the idea is to basically have, here are all the tasks you need to do, and take the time to really schedule a time to actually get them done at a time you're likely to be available, because then basically it's not just a bunch of stuff on a list, but it actually matches up with when you're available. So if you know from, I don't know, 8 to 9 p.m., you basically are usually available and that's your time to really get personal administrative stuff done, schedule these tasks for that time. Don't have them cluttered up at some other point of the day when you know you're not going to get to them. Or if you know that you're so tired at that point that you're really never going to get to anything you plan, don't schedule stuff at that time. So the point is to really just, decide on a plan to start of how you're going to write down stuff and plan out. And again, this is where working with a professional can often be really helpful, because if you can't do this yourself, having someone to really talk through and help you with it can make a world of difference in getting yourself started. So I hope this is helpful. It's really is a starting point in thinking about some of the lifestyle changes you can make as an old ADHD in order to really thrive.